Alright, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to go through today is basically what it's like living with my car on a daily basis. So to all you that don't know what my car is, it's a 2016 Mustang EcoBoost. It is one of the new right-hand drive models. So basically my first impressions and what I think of it. Keep in mind, I've only had this car for about a month now. So I personally love this car. It's a bit of a dream come true to me. Took about a year, just under a year to get here, so there was a lot of enthusiasm waiting for this car. Now it's finally here. So my previous car, just for a bit of car history, was a Ford Fiesta 1.25 litre engine, so it is a bit of an upgrade. So basically, let's start with the basics of the car. For instance, the size of the car. Now it is a big car, it's quite wide as well, and that is something I've had to get used to, especially coming from driving a Ford Fiesta. It's a massive increase in size. It is something you've got to kind of watch out for, because for instance, if a curb comes out a bit further, or the road's not too good, or just even like little country roads for instance, you do have to have that extra little bit of caution, because with this car it's quite wide and it's generally a big car. It's actually a little bit bigger than the BMW 4 Series, so relatively big sized car. So another thing what I really like about this car on an everyday basis is it really has such a good personality. It's a massive split personality, this car. So especially, I live in the outskirts of London, so if you're driving around town or busy streets, it is a proper cruiser. Especially when you see that big bonnet at the front, you feel like you're driving a yacht, and it's a really nice, comfortable place to be. Maybe it's just knowing I'm in a big car, but it does feel like a real good cruiser. But when I want to hit down the throttle a little bit more, pick up the speed, it's got a split personality. When you put your foot down the throttle, you do know about it. It does go. It actually has Sport Plus and a racetrack mode, so you've got that extra bit of power if you want it. But yeah, like, I don't know what I prefer this car for, to be honest. Actually, I do like cruising about in it, but when you put down the foot, you do get that adrenaline rush. Even though it is the EcoBoost and not the GT, it does pack quite a big kick to it actually, and I think you'd be surprised for a 2.3 litre engine. So moving on, basically, for instance, this is more of a mental thing, damage in the car or where you leave the car. It is something you do notice. Like, if I park my car somewhere, just say Tesco's car park for instance, you do constantly wonder if anyone's touching it, looking at it, or then you just, even malicious damage to the car, and it does play on you. Is someone gonna open their door and slam it into my car by accident? And it's all these little things that you do constantly worry about, especially because it's a Mustang, because they're quite rare in the UK. Like, I've only ever seen 2 other Mustangs on the road now, so it is driving something very unique, and you are very careful about that almost. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. Moving on, basically parking the car. Now that can be a bit of an issue, especially in the UK. Keep in mind, this is an American muscle car. They're big cars. In some places in the UK, for parking spaces, literally the parking space is not big enough, as in the car won't physically fit. So that's something you got to watch for. Like, when I go out, I almost think about, where am I leaving the car? What's the best route for the car? Like, if I know the parking space is a bit dodgy, I will actually avoid that and try and go somewhere else, just in case my car does get damaged, because it is not going to be cheap to repair. So I do want to kind of avoid that. Another thing actually, just because it is, as I said, a bit rarer in the UK. I know in America than just like any other car, but in the UK you'd be surprised, this does catch a lot of attention. And most of the time it's good attention, but you always do get some people in like modded out Ford Fiesta STs or Volkswagen Polos or something like that, just modded the crap out of, which do try to overtake you, or should I say undertake you in most cases. So you do get a bit of negativity when it comes to attention, but to be honest with you, most of it's quite positive. But it is something that I've noticed with this car, especially coming from the Fiesta. gets a massive amount of attention, to the point a little bit more than I expected. Like, I get people asking to take pictures of the car and everything. You think I'm driving a Lamborghini or something. So coming on from there, it's I think very simple. It's costs. Every car's got a cost to basically running it. So the one major cost really of living with a car, which you notice on a daily basis, I think really is just petrol. Petrol can be a bit of a hit. Now, I think especially when people hear the word EcoBoost Mustang, they all kind of think, well, the fuel's got to be quite good on it. If that's what you think, you are mistaken. I can tell you that now. It is a heavy car, so that's going to contribute. But at the moment, at this present moment in time, I've actually got 23 mpg, which, believe it or not, in my mind, is really good at the moment for this car. Most other cars, terrible in my mind. Most cars in modern day now, hitting 40, 50 mpg, so quite good on fuel. From empty, this tank fills up, I think it's about £50. I put the Supreme unleaded in, so if you went for the normal stuff, you'd probably be looking at maybe, what, £45? So it's not too bad, but it gives you about 230 miles range-wise. So depending on your kind of driving, will depend how fast that goes, obviously. I have to say 23 mpg for me is quite high. Normally I am about 22, but that's because I think I'm driving a little bit more calm today. Or just not only that, it's just start and stop as well. But yeah. So coming on from there, the cost of the fuel depends how many miles you do. Like, I drive probably only about 120 miles a week, but I do feel it. I fill this car up every week without doubt, even if it's only, say, 3/4 of the tank. So you will feel it there. Ford actually do claim that this car with this spec can hit 31 mpg. I'm a bit I question that slightly. I don't think that's ever going to happen, to be honest. But yeah, so that's what I find living with this car. Overall, I love the car and I really enjoy driving it. In my mind, it was a brilliant buy for me. Basically, I'll make another video about what it's like living with this car a little bit further into me owning it. Things can change maybe. In the meantime, keep watching out for more videos and keep them updated regularly. And subscribe.